Portugal is not merely a country on the far western edge of Europe. It is a frontier between myth and history, land and sea, memory and discovery. This is a land where the Atlantic roars against ancient cliffs, where the light glows golden like a painter's dream, and where each stone street whispers stories older than empires. Portugal stands as a quiet giant of civilization, a cradle of explorers, poets, kings, navigators, and dreamers who dared to venture into the unknown. It is a nation forged by wind and salt, by the hands of fishermen and the visions of monarchs, by centuries of longing, conflict, romance, and transformation. And yet, for all its historical grandeur, Portugal remains intimately human, warm, soulful, humble. To encounter Portugal is to encounter emotion itself. The melancholic beauty of saudade, the fiery passion of fado, the triumphant legacy of discovery, and the comforting presence of tradition that has survived every storm. Portugal is a portrait painted in sunlight and shadow, in triumph and loss, in the eternal conversation between land and ocean. This is not a story about a country, it is the story of a spirit that has shaped the world. Welcome to Portugal, a nation carved by time, defined by imagination, and illuminated by soul. To understand Portugal, one must begin with its horizon, that distant line where sea meets sky, where generations of explorers once stared and wondered what lay beyond. The geography of Portugal is a masterpiece, sculpted by nature and refined by centuries of human presence. Stretching along the Iberian Peninsula's western coast, Portugal is bordered by Spain to the east and embraced by the Atlantic Ocean along nearly its entire length. Its landscapes shift like chapters in a novel. Rugged cliffs plunge into roaring waves in the Algarve. Rolling vineyards blanket the Douro Valley in geometric perfection. Sun-soaked plains extend across the Alentejo with infinite calm. And lush, misty forests crown the northern Minho region, where Celtic whispers still linger. Cities like Lisbon and Porto rise from hillsides toward the open sky, their streets weaving between history and modernity like threads of time. Portugal's islands, Madeira and the Azores, float like emerald jewels in the Atlantic, offering worlds of volcanic peaks, waterfalls, and eternal spring. The land itself tells a story of resilience, beauty, and endurance. Here, landscapes are not merely scenery, they are characters alive, expressive, and inseparable from the identity of the Portuguese soul. But no matter how breathtaking its landscapes may be, Portugal's true essence lies in its people. The Portuguese are shaped by centuries of discovery, longing, labor, faith, and community. And from that blend emerges a warmth that is unmistakable. They are storytellers by nature, philosophers by instinct, and hosts by tradition. Hospitality is not a courtesy here. It is a way of life, expressed through shared meals, open doors, and conversations that last long into the night. The Portuguese carry within them a profound sense of saudade, a word that has no true translation, a deeply emotional longing for what was, what is, and what might have been. Saudade is woven into their music, their poetry, their architecture, their gaze toward the sea. Yet this melancholic sensitivity coexists with a quiet strength. Portugal is a nation that has endured earthquakes, invasions, collapses, and rebirths, and through it all, its people have remained steadfast, gentle, and proud. Their character is shaped by fishermen who battle relentless waves, by farmers who tend to ancient lands, by artisans who preserve beauty in every craft, and by innovators who carry Portugal's legacy into the future. In Portugal, humanity is not abstract. It is alive in every smile. Every story, every stride. Portugal's spirit is a blend of contrasts, calm yet passionate, simple yet profound, ancient yet eternally youthful. It is a spirit anchored in tradition but open to the winds of change, grounded in humility but capable of dreaming beyond the horizon. The Portuguese spirit lives in the rhythm of fado music, where a single guitar chord can convey centuries of emotion. It lives in the celebrations of saints and the fireworks of midsummer festivals, in the laughter shared over glasses of vinho verde, in the perseverance of rural communities, in the innovation of modern architects shaping the skylines of Lisbon and Porto. Portugal is a land where spirituality lives not only in churches and monasteries, but in olive groves, ocean tides, and mountain winds. The spirit of this nation is not defined by loudness. It is defined by depth, a thoughtful, observant, introspective character that has led the Portuguese to explore worlds beyond maps, seek truths beyond borders, and preserve beauty beyond time. Portugal teaches us that greatness can be quiet, strength can be gentle, and identity can be carried not in monuments alone, but in the hearts of those who call this land home. And so, as we begin our journey across Portugal through its history, culture, geography, traditions, and its rising role in the modern world, we must prepare to see this country not as a destination, but as a living narrative. Portugal is a mosaic of centuries stacked upon centuries, each era leaving behind traces of triumph, tragedy, resilience, and beauty. Its story is written in the stones of medieval castles, in the sails of caravels that crossed uncharted waters, in the ruins of Roman temples, in the walls painted with azulejo tiles, and in the voices of people who inherit and reinvent these legacies every day. This script will take you through the age of ancient tribes, the rise of a kingdom. The golden age of exploration, the struggle for survival, the revolution that restored democracy, and the modern Renaissance transforming Portugal today. You will walk its cobblestone streets, feel its ocean winds, hear its music, taste its cuisine, and witness the incredible journey of a nation that has shaped the world. Portugal is more than a chapter in history, it is an epic in motion. And now, it is time to turn the page. Portugal's geography is a symphony of contrasts, a landscape sculpted by time and shaped by the dance between land and ocean. Situated on the western edge of the Iberian Peninsula, Portugal stretches approximately 561 kilometers from north to south, bordered only by Spain to the east and fully exposed to the Atlantic along its entire western frontier. This unique position gives Portugal a character defined by coastline nearly 1,800 kilometers of cliffs, beaches, coves, and estuaries that have influenced everything from cuisine to culture to exploration. The north is lush and cool, filled with green mountains, cascading rivers, and fertile valleys that cradle ancient towns and vineyards. The center is a blend of pine forests, rolling hills, and medieval cities that whisper histories at every corner. The south opens into warm golden plains and the Algarve's dramatic limestone formations, shaped by centuries of wind and waves. Beyond the mainland lie the islands of Madeira, a subtropical paradise, and the Azores, a volcanic archipelago where lakes and craters sculpt an otherworldly terrain. Portugal's geography is not only beautiful, it is a storybook of natural forces that crafted a nation of explorers, dreamers, farmers, fishermen, and poets. The people of Portugal, numbering just over 10 million, embody a rare combination of gentleness, resilience, and quiet wisdom born from centuries of triumph and hardship. To meet a Portuguese person is to encounter warmth that feels ancestral, a genuine hospitality expressed not in grand gestures, but in subtle, heartfelt acts. A shared meal, a welcoming smile, a carefully brewed coffee poured for a stranger. Their identity is deeply influenced by a long history of migration, exploration, and cultural exchange. Though Portuguese society is remarkably cohesive, it carries layers of regional character. The poetic, contemplative nature of the northern people contrasts with the fiery spirit of the Alentejo. The coastal towns hold the soul of sailors. The islands nurture traditions shaped by isolation, storms, and volcanic soil. The Portuguese value community over individualism, simplicity over excess, authenticity over spectacle. They are profoundly shaped by family ties, religious customs, local festivals, and a collective sense of perseverance. Their worldview is grounded in lived experience, passed down through stories told around dinner tables, music shared in small taverns, and knowledge handed from generation to generation. The people of Portugal are not loud, but they are profound, a living embodiment of the nation's quiet power. Portuguese, the official language of Portugal, is far more than a means of communication. It is a vessel of emotion, memory, and identity. Spoken by over 260 million people worldwide, Portuguese is one of the most widespread languages on Earth, carried across continents through centuries of exploration, trade, and cultural exchange. Its sound is unmistakably melodic, shaped by Latin roots, yet softened by centuries of evolution, producing a rhythm that feels almost musical. Portuguese contains words that reflect the nation's emotional depth, none more powerful than saudade, a longing so poetic it has become a symbol of the national soul. The language plays a central role in uniting the varied regions of the country. from the northern hills to the southern plains, from the mainland shores to the islands of Madeira and the Azores. In literature, Portuguese has given the world giants like Luís de Camões, who captured the triumphs and tragedies of exploration, Fernando Pessoa, whose multiple literary personas reshaped modern poetry, and José Saramago, whose Nobel Prize-winning works explore humanity with philosophical depth. To speak Portuguese is to enter a world shaped by beauty, emotion, and centuries of cultural heritage, preserved in every syllable and expressed in every verse. Portugal's economy is a living example of resilience and reinvention, shaped by centuries of maritime trade, agriculture, craftsmanship, and, in recent decades, innovation and tourism. Historically, the nation's economy thrived through global exploration, from spices to gold to overseas territories that expanded Portugal's wealth and influence. Over time, as the empire faded, Portugal faced economic struggles, culminating in major reforms after joining the European Union in 1986. These reforms modernized infrastructure, expanded education, and transformed industries. Today, Portugal stands as one of Europe's rising economic success stories, emphasizing renewable energy, technology, sustainable tourism, and high-quality exports. It is a world leader in green energy, generating large portions of its electricity from wind, hydropower, and solar sources. The country's tech sector has surged, with Lisbon and Porto becoming hubs for startups and digital nomads, drawing innovators from around the world. Agriculture remains vital, producing olives, wine, cork, and seafood with global prestige. Meanwhile, tourism driven by history, culture, cuisine, and scenery has become a pillar of economic strength. Portugal's economy is no longer defined by the past alone. It is shaped by constant transformation, blending heritage with forward-thinking ambition. Portugal's national identity is a tapestry woven from history, emotion, resilience, and unbreaking cultural continuity. More than anything, Portugal is defined by balance, the balance between sorrow and joy, tradition and modernity, humility and pride, land and sea. This identity is anchored in the concept of saudade, a deeply emotional sense of longing that captures the essence of the Portuguese experience. Love touched by loss, hope touched by melancholy, and memory touched by imagination. Portuguese identity is also shaped by exploration, the courage that drove navigators like Vasco da Gama, Henry the Navigator, and Ferdinand Magellan to risk their lives in pursuit of the unknown. Yet this adventurous spirit coexists with a grounded lifestyle, centered on family, food, faith, and community. Portugal is a country where ancient customs survive in daily life, where churches still ring with tradition, where elders teach recipes passed down for centuries, where festivals illuminate towns with color and music. Even as Portugal becomes more modern, diverse, and globally connected, its identity remains rooted in simplicity, sincerity, and soulfulness. To understand Portugal's national character is to understand a people who feel deeply, dream boldly, and live gently in a world they helped shape. Long before Portugal became a nation, long before its name appeared on maps or its people sailed beyond horizons, this land was home to civilizations whose stories have faded into the mist of time, The earliest human presence in this region dates back tens of thousands of years, wandering tribes who lived between mountains, rivers, and oceans, shaping their lives around nature's rhythms. Megalithic monuments, some older than the pyramids of Egypt, still stand in the Alentejo, silent witnesses to forgotten rites and ancient communities that believed the land was alive with spirits. Portugal's national identity is a tapestry woven from history, emotion, resilience, and unbreaking cultural continuity. More than anything, Portugal is defined by balance. The balance between sorrow and joy, tradition and modernity, humility and pride, land and sea. This identity is anchored in the concept of saudade, a deeply emotional sense of longing that captures the essence of the Portuguese experience. Love touched by loss, hope touched by melancholy, and memory touched by imagination. Portuguese identity is also shaped by exploration, the courage that drove navigators like Vasco da Gama, Henry the Navigator, and Ferdinand Magellan to risk their lives in pursuit of the unknown. Yet this adventurous spirit coexists with a grounded lifestyle centered on family, food, faith, and community. Portugal is a country where ancient customs survive in daily life, where churches still ring with tradition, where elders teach recipes passed down for centuries, where festivals illuminate towns with color and music. Even as Portugal becomes more modern, diverse, and globally connected, its identity remains rooted in simplicity, sincerity, and soulfulness. To understand Portugal's national character is to understand a people who feel deeply, dream boldly, and live gently in a world they helped shape. Long before Portugal became a nation, long before its name appeared on maps or its people sailed beyond horizons, this land was home to civilizations whose stories have faded into the mist of time. The earliest human presence in this region dates back tens of thousands of years, wandering tribes who lived between mountains, rivers, and oceans, shaping their lives around nature's rhythms. Megalithic monuments, some older than the pyramids of Egypt, still stand in the Alentejo, silent witnesses to forgotten rites and ancient communities that believed the land was alive with spirits. As centuries passed, the region became a crossroads of peoples. Iberians settled the valleys, Celts moved across the hills, and together they formed the Celtiberians, whose culture blended ritual with resilience. They crafted metal tools, built fortified settlements, and nurtured early spiritual traditions that still echo faintly in today's folklore. To imagine Portugal at this time is to imagine a land both wild and sacred, thick forests, roaring rivers, and tribes navigating a world defined by survival and ceremony. The ancient foundations of Portugal are not simply archaeological facts, they are the first strokes of a story that would grow into a nation with a soul shaped by countless hands over countless generations. The arrival of the Romans in the 2nd century BCE marked one of the most transformative chapters in Portugal's early history. For Rome, this region, then known as Lusitania, was not just territory, it was a frontier of empire, a land rich in resources, strategic in location, and filled with rugged tribes willing to fight for their independence. The Lusitanians, led by the legendary warrior Viriatus, resisted Roman expansion with extraordinary bravery, becoming symbols of defiance and national pride centuries before Portugal existed. But Rome's persistence eventually prevailed, and over time Lusitania became one of the empire's most important provinces. The Romans introduced roads that stitched the land together, bridges that defied time, aqueducts that brought water to new cities, and laws that reshaped society. Towns such as Evora, Coimbriga, and Braga flourished with temples, baths, markets, and theatres, tangible expressions of a new cultural order. Latin became the linguistic root of modern Portuguese, while Roman agriculture, architecture, and engineering laid foundations still visible today. Yet despite Rome's immense influence, the Portuguese spirit did not disappear. It absorbed and transformed these elements, slowly shaping a cultural identity that would one day emerge as uniquely its own. When the Roman Empire began to crumble, Portugal's land once again stood at a crossroads of history. Into this shifting landscape came the Visigoths, a Germanic people who swept across the Iberian Peninsula during the 5th century. Their arrival did not bring the grand architecture or disciplined order of Rome, but rather a new period marked by tribal governance, religious transition, and political fragmentation. The Visigoths established control over much of what would become Portugal, adopting Christianity and blending Roman traditions with their own customs. Their influence can still be felt in the early foundations of Portuguese law, church organization, and rural settlement patterns. Yet the Visigothic kingdom was fragile, weakened by internal conflict, shifting alliances, and the remains of Roman systems that no longer fully functioned. Still, this era served as a bridge between the classical world and the medieval one, preserving fragments of Roman heritage while unwittingly preparing the land for its next great transformation. For the Visigoths ruled during a time when Europe was redefining itself, but in the midst of their struggle, no one could foresee that a new force from the south, the Moors, would soon reshape the cultural, architectural, and intellectual landscape of the region in ways that still endure. In the year 711, everything changed. Muslim forces, commonly called the Moors, swept across the Iberian Peninsula, bringing with them a wave of cultural brilliance, scientific knowledge, artistic innovation, and agricultural advancement unlike anything the region had ever seen. Their arrival marked the beginning of Al-Andalus, a civilization that blended Islamic, Christian, and Jewish traditions into a thriving, intellectually vibrant society. In what would become Portugal, the Moors introduced irrigation systems that transformed dry fields into fertile farmlands. They built cities with elaborate gardens, flowing water, and geometric architecture. They developed trade networks that connected Iberia to Africa, the Middle East, and beyond. From their influence came new crops like citrus fruits, rice, figs, and almonds, foods now central to Portuguese cuisine. They advanced mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and philosophy, establishing schools and libraries that turned the Iberian Peninsula into a beacon of knowledge during Europe's early medieval period. Cities like Lisbon and Silves flourished under Moorish governance, and the artistic legacy of this era remains visible today in tile work, place names, and architectural motifs. The Moorish period did not erase earlier cultures, it enriched them, setting the stage for the emergence of a new identity that would eventually lead to the birth of Portugal. The formation of Portugal as a kingdom was not an overnight event, but the culmination of centuries of struggle, alliances, and cultural convergence. In the 12th century, as Christian kingdoms in the north of Iberia sought to reclaim territory from Moorish rule, the region that would become Portugal began to take shape. The turning point came with Count Afonso Henriques, a determined leader who sought independence from both Moorish forces and the neighboring kingdom of Leon. Through a combination of military victories and political maneuvering, Afonso declared himself King Afonso I of Portugal in 1139, a bold move that set the foundation for a distinct nation. The Treaty of Zamora in 1143 formalized Portugal's status as a sovereign kingdom, and over the next century, its borders expanded southward until reaching the Algarve, completing the territory of modern Portugal. This era marked not only a geographic unification, but also the crystallization of a national identity. Languages blended, cultures intertwined, and traditions began to solidify. Portugal emerged as a young, but ambitious kingdom, a land of warriors, farmers, monks, and sailors who would soon look beyond their shores with a courage that would reshape world history. The Age of Discovery did not begin with a single voyage, but with a shift in imagination, a moment when Portugal, a small Atlantic-facing kingdom, dared to dream beyond the limits of the known world. In the 15th century, while much of Europe remained land-focused and cautious, Portugal turned its gaze toward the ocean, seeing not danger but possibility. The country was small, its resources limited, yet its spirit was vast. Its people lived by the rhythm of tides and winds, and so the sea felt less like a barrier and more like an invitation. The early Portuguese explorers were not driven by madness or accident. They were driven by curiosity, hunger for knowledge, and the courage to challenge ancient maps that warned of monsters and endless falls. This shift marked the beginning of one of humanity's most transformative eras. Small wooden caravels, fragile compared to the enormity of the ocean, became vessels of destiny. Coastal towns like Sagres, Lagos, and Lisbon turned into launch pads for voyages that would connect continents, cultures, and civilizations. Portugal was no longer merely a kingdom. It was becoming a gateway between worlds, where ambition and innovation converged with the relentless power of the Atlantic. A global epoch was awakening. At the heart of this great awakening stood Prince Henry the Navigator, a visionary who never sailed the oceans he helped conquer, yet whose influence reshaped world history. Born into royalty but consumed by curiosity rather than glory, Henry established a center of maritime knowledge in Sagres, a place where astronomers, cartographers, mathematicians, navigators, and shipbuilders gathered to solve the mysteries of the sea. Under his guidance, new maps were drawn, new instruments refined,